TV is on once again. Yes, bring you that live information. Special one today. Joined by the elders. But without further ado, I'm going to bring in the elder and let him begin our education for this evening. Yeah, all this.
Dua, Siba Richie, Black Ice TV. It's a pleasure to be on your platform. I'd like to apologize to all the Ramets, to the family, for our technical difficulties. Our Tiba in the Sudan, Asaru Hotep, Mary Ma'at, he's having difficulty. It's like a sandstorm. I don't know what's going on in the Sudan. We're having difficulties getting in touch with him, but we got 8 minutes remaining. I'm looking at my star map chart on my app, and I can see that the three stars of Orion's belt has just broken the plane of the ecliptic of the horizon, and we got 20 minutes before Cyrus breaks the plane, and then 20 more minutes before the sun breaks the plane, which is the helical rising. So I want to gravitate. First, I'd like to I give my blessings to Black Ice TV for allowing us on their platform. And I want to gravitate everybody. I want to ask the ancestors for permission to speak, for my elders for permission to speak. Dr. Professor Leonard Jeffries, Dr. Siba Samaj Patel, Nefundishi, James Smalls, Queen Mother Goddess, Terry Nelson, Nazinga Dalila, Baba Kaba Kamini, and all the other elders. And now I would like to address primordial temple discipline, rite of passage by gravitating everybody to our present moment in time and space so we can gravitate ourselves to the collective cosmic consciousness connection with a Hesi, the Saku, the affirmation. For this is the New Year's Eve. There's 15 minutes, 25 minutes before the New Year's, which will mean that it will be the first day of the first month of Jehuti, the first day of Ra, the first day of the first month of the first season of Shemu, year number 8, AFNK. So the Hesi goes, O As Duau, O As Ermuk Pat Nataru Panebu, the mother of the Necherus, the mistress of Pet, the maker of mankind, she who is mighty in words of power, mother of all initiation. Bless us humble servants for Ankh, life now present, for we seek the counsel of the ancient ones and practice daily the ancient Ma'atian ways and ancient Ma'atian truths. We strive evermore to become one with thee in this world and in the existence to come. We ask that you bless us on this, the first day of the first month of Jehuti, the first day of Ra, the first day of the first month of the first season of Shemu, year number 8, AFNK/ST, after the founding of New Kemet, Naga Kemet, Samad Tawi, phenomenon of precession, New Age order, the great golden age of Ma'at Hapi Asa, the phenomenon of precession, year number 8, phenomenon of procession, great golden age of Ma'at Hapi Asa. We ask that you bless our families and friends and all those of us who gather together to worship in your most holy, sacred, and glorious ancient Tamarian name of Aser Mut Nataru Panebu, for in the act of seeking you, there is much comfort. So as it's spoken, so let it be written, so let it be done, so shall it be. For now and forever forward, Ra Neba Teshera, Pa Nata Apupa Ma'at, Onk Was Dejet, Onk Kuja Seneb, Uben Nefi Kia Panebu Heru Ma'ati. Hotep family, Nezarak Ramech, EM Hotep. Greetings and divine greatness, divine excellence to the family and all citizens of the Nile Valley cultural spiritual consciousness. Anuk Pata Sikasa. I'm here to present the red pet. We are going to change our story, to rewrite our story this evening on this great platform of Black Ice TV 7. We are going to realign ourselves with our cultural spiritual consciousness and the frequencies and the vibrations of the phenomenon which is happening right now in Nubia on the Giza Plateau on 30 longitude, 30 latitude, which is the center of the landmass of the planet. On the Nilotic meridian right now, the star Subtit is rising with Ra. We're supposed to have communication with our brother Siba, Asasura Hotep, Mary Ma'at. he called me this afternoon. He drove, he slept all night. He's driving through the desert. He says, I'm here. He drove through the desert all night. He showed me the pyramids. He had 17 students with him, and he's all live. He had to keep his battery uncharged, so because there's nowhere to plug in over there. So he's just so hyped up. We're all hyped up. The energy is flowing. I hope you can feel the energy, because this is our Renpet. This is our New Year's, because the star and the sun rises at the same time, meaning that our earth has made one complete revolution of the sun. And our geodite, our point of origin for our Kemetic spirituality, is the Merku, or the Great Pyramid, which is in Giza. Also the pyramids down in Tia in Ethiopia, the calendar in Ethiopia that Ashwa Kwezi is at right now. And the one in Kerma, Medaway, and Napata at the Necropolis, where Asa Surah Mary Ma'at is at right now. And if we keep going down to the left of this meridian, this Nilotic meridian, we're in Napta Playa. Okay, and if we keep going down to South Africa, we end up in Adam's calendar, that they call Adam's calendar. All these megalithic spherical calendars are located on this Nilotic meridian right now, and this is when the star is rising. This is our geodite. Now, the Kemetic family in the United States celebrates it on August the 3rd, because the star and the sun is visible on the northern southern hemisphere on the East Coast on August the 3rd. So if you're at a high spot on August the 3rd, you would see it from where you are located here on the northern southern hemisphere of the United States or South America. And on August the 9th, it's visible on the West Coast, Colorado, California. So everybody has a perspective of what we're looking at here. But we wanted to have the visual confirmation of this cosmic phenomenon from the Sudan, so that we can all come together in the cool spirit of Samatawi under one Ipetaru, one Shabitam Tuaru Pamaat, one ancient African indigenous primordial Naga, Shemsaru, Nesubiti, Hemet, Siba Sibat, Munatat, the immortal ones of Ma'at, cherished ancestors, solar silver lunar calendar. So the reason why the sun is rising now is on a 24-hour daily cycle. The earth has three motions. The earth has three motions. The earth rotates on its axis. It rotates 24 hours and 35 minutes is the original calendar of mankind, which is a solar civil calendar. We have three calendars. The Kemetic calendar today is a lunar cycle calendar. It has 12 months. It has 3 seasons, 4 months in each season. 120, 120, 120 is 360. And they have 5 extra days and intercalendary days, and the days that the Earth Nethers were born, which we just celebrated at the Museum of the National Center of Afro-American Artists in Boston, Massachusetts, where I will be at tomorrow to celebrate the Renpet for here in the United States at the Museum of the National Center of Afro-American Artists, the Royal Burial Chamber Tomb Room of Nesubitia Sparta. So those of you who are in Boston, or those who are doing a road trip to come to see us tomorrow at Boston at 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock, we'll be at the Museum of the National Center of Afro-American Artists, 300 Walnut Ave, Roxbury, Boston, Massachusetts. So the original calendar of mankind is 360 days in a year, because there's 24 hours and 35 minutes in every day. It's a solar sidereal calendar. The sidereal means the star Sirius. So when the star Sirius rises above the elliptic plane, traverses the elliptic plane, and returns to its original position in respect to the fixed stars, takes 8,766 hours. This is our geodite when we're trying to understand how to tell time. So we have to use primordial temple discipline. We cannot use academia. We cannot use scholarship. I have scholarship, but I'm not a scholar. I would not call myself a scholar. I would not insult my ancestors. I would not insult them to be a Greek or a Roman, or to regurgitate this slave mentality to my remets, to my family, to my people. We're talking primordial temple discipline methodology here. Okay, so we're starting with the star Sirius. That there's a binary. Sirius and the sun Ra does a binary dance, and it takes every 1,461 years. They conjunct closely, and they conjunct to its further point. That's the helical rising, where on the horizon they rise together. Okay, now we're going to see what we're seeing right now. If you take out your star map, if you go to your app on your phone, push star map, plug in star map, then you got to, calibrate the phone, and then turn it to the southeast, and you will see Orion's belt. The 3 stars will rise above the plane. 1, 2, 3. They've already risen. Now, in 5 more minutes, 10 more minutes, the star Sirius is going to rise, and the sun's going to be, it's dawning right now in the Sudan. In Kemet right now, the sun is getting ready to rise. The constellation of Orion is already risen. Sirius is coming behind it. Okay, first the Pleiades rises, the constellation of Pleiades. Then behind the Pleiades comes a constellation of Orion. The 3 stars are rising vertically, 1, 2, 3. Now comes the star Sirius, and as the star Sirius is rising right now, at this moment, it's rising right now, and it's dawning. And the sun's Ra's going to appear, and then it's only going to be visible for like 15 minutes before the sun becomes so bright that the stars become invisible because Newt is being lifted off the Seb, and it's just going to be the day. So, under this calendar of 360 days, the Earth has a 24-hour and 35-minute rotation. That's the first movement of the planet. The second movement, it revolves around the sun. And the third movement is it's tilted 23 degrees from vertical, which makes it wobble. And this wobble is called the phenomenon of precession. One complete wobble is 26,000 years. This is how our ancestors tell time. So we're rewriting our story now. We're getting away from history, from his story. It's rising now.
Cyrus and the sun, right here.
Okay, Cyrus has just broke the plane right now. So Cyrus has just broke the plane. We're watching it. We're watching it on the star map. If anybody has an alternate wireless device besides the computer, they can download star map, and you can see this happening in real time because our Seba in the Sudan is not connected. He's not here yet. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know why, but we're going to continue because in the spirit of the Samata, we can project this. We can project this visual phenomenon with our vibrations and frequencies because we can feel the energy because we are of Naga descent. We are the Shemsu Harus. We are here because the Shemsu Harus, it is time for us to take control of this planet and regain our positions as the true monarchs of this planet who are the monarchs of the universe. We are the Nagas. We are the true Nagas. We are the Shemsu Harus. Right now, the Shemsu sets rule this planet. And they took control 4,000 years ago when they reformed the calendar in 754 BCE, or AUC, Ab Urbe Kotita. AB, Ab Urbe, URBE Kotita, Cordita. Google it and you'll see first calendar reform. Ab Urbe Kotita means upon the founding of the city of Rome, 754 BC. They reformed the calendar. Then they reformed the calendar again in 321, which is Ptolemy the first, third, and fifth, which is the Decree of Canopus 1, 2, and 3. Google this if you're a scholar. Do your due diligence so that you can have a perceptive. I'm only here to help you remember. I'm only here to ignite your pineal gland, to ignite the chakras, so that you can remember your divine birthright, which is immortality. So we arise to regain and to remember our divine birthright by reassembling the dismembered body parts of our paternal father, Asa Unefa Kentiamenti. Okay? I know you can feel it. We've been here before millions and millions of times. This is not our first dance. This is not our first waltz. This is not, here we got it right here. We have it right here. There's the sun at the bottom down here. Let me see. I don't know if you can see it too good. You got the sun at the bottom, and there's the elliptic plane, okay? And there's Cyrus up here. There's Cyrus right there. There's Ra down here, okay? So Cyrus has just broken the plane. Ra's still down there, so they're going to be able to see, still see, in Kemet right now, they're seeing Cyrus rising for at least a half hour because the sun's all the way down here. See? Right. The real helical rising, the star and the sun rising together, which is every 1,461 years, which is that binary dance that Ra does with Cyrus. But here it is today. I was looking right now in Giza and in Napata, Medaway, and in Kerma. at the necropolis of the pyramids, where our Siba is at right now. Okay, thank you, dear. So we have to just understand how to basically how they stole our time from us. We're on Gregorian time. We're under injured humanity, mental, physical, spiritual, subjugated slavery. They changed the time. They gave you a lunar cycle calendar. They put us on the Gregorian calendar, which is a lunar cycle calendar. The Kemetic calendar that you see today is not it's a reproduction of Ptolemy the First, Soter, Serapi, September, Mary, Amen, which is a 12-month calendar with 3 seasons, with 4 months in each season. 4 is 120, 120, 120 is 360 days. So that is a Kemetic calendar, but we had a solar, civil, and a lunar calendar, which is together. So they severed us from the solar and the lunar, severed us from the solar and the civil, and gave us a lunar cycle calendar, because with the lunar cycle calendar, you can grow crops. They could feed us. All they wanted to do was defeat us and to rape our land, rape our spirituality, and to make us and to put us into bondage, into mental, physical, spiritual, subjugated slavery, and into submission. So we are regaining our divine birthright. We are regaining our divine birthright right now by acquiring the ability to experience the phenomenon of being. This is a cosmic story. This is a cosmic revelation. Okay? You have to ask yourself, why are you here watching Black Ice TV? Do you want peace? Do you want serenity? Do you want tranquility? Do you want wisdom? Do you want knowledge? We're here to give you cosmic awareness, spiritual consciousness, and universal enlightenment. This is what it means to be a being. It's a cosmic revelation. So back to the beginning. I'm trying to relate this to you as primordial temple discipline, as science, mathematics, and cultural spiritual consciousness. This is not religion. We have no religion. We have a cultural spiritual consciousness of a universal equation that unites us with the all of alls because of our melanin. So the 3 movements of the earth is the earth rotates on its axis. Second is revolves around the sun. The third is it rotates at 23 degrees of vertical, and it wobbles, and it creates the phenomenon of precession, which is 28,000 years. One wobble is 28,000 years. We know this because of the Merku, the Great Pyramid, the star shafts of the Great Pyramid. The southern star shaft points to Orion's belt and to Sirius in the south, which tells us when the earth is made one complete revolution around the sun. The northern star shaft points to the circumpolar stars, the Tawa works, in which the never setting polar stars, which is Polaris, Vega, Vegan, and Draco. Okay? And this means where we're located on the galactic elliptic plane of our quadrant, the Milky Way galaxy. Okay, I'm trying to give you this time thing so you can put it all together, because it's in you already. I'm just going to help you remember. Okay, so now there's the helical rising on the 25th on the Giza Plateau is at Giadite, but there's also another helical rising, which is on March 21st on the spring equinox. On the March 21st on the Gregorian calendar, on the spring equinox, if you get up in the morning before the sun rises, an hour before the sun rises, you look 23 degrees from horizontal, 23.5 degrees, whatever constellation is in the sky is where we're located on the galactic elliptic plane of our quadrant of the Milky Way galaxy. It might sound, which is Aquarius right now, which is called Ma'at Hapi Asa. Now, it might sound a little too much for you right now, but you can do this. Now, all you have to do is visualize a black hole or a galaxy from an aerial view, looking down. It looks like a hurricane. But if you look at it from a side view, it's nothing but a line with a glow at the top and a glow at the bottom. That's the black hole. That line is called the galactic elliptic plane, okay, of our Milky Way galaxy. Our sun goes 15 degrees up the plane. It touches down, goes 15 degrees down. It comes up, hits the plane again, goes up, it goes down. And this is how we're moving through the phenomenon of precession of 26,000 years through each and every sign of the zodiac. We understand this. Our ancient Nubian, Kemetic, Naga ancestors understood how to observe these stars and knew where we was moving through time and space. Right now, we are astronauts on a planet, on a spaceship called Seb, the Earth, that's moving around the sun. that's moving around the phenomenon of possession, that's moving around this Milky Way galaxy that's expanding with the universe. And yet we don't know how to tell time because we're stuck on Gregorian time. We're stuck on stupid. We're stuck on ancient humanity, and we're feeding this to our children. We have to break away, take down the Gregorian calendar from your wall, and put up the Ipeteru, the Shabitem Tuaru Pamahat, the ancient African indigenous primordial Rasarian solar civil lunar calendar, the Nataru logical star timeline. The Nataru logical star timeline moves us through the phenomenon of precession. I had it as a Kemetic calendar, but the Kemetic Society will not accept this calendar because they say it's a fraudulent calendar. Okay? So they think this because it doesn't relate to their concept of academia. I am not a scholar. Okay? I'm from the temple. I was born in the temple. What I'm offering you is your immortality by giving you a solar, sidereal, and a lunar calendar. Okay? So now, the three motions of the earth is rotates 24 hours or 24 hours and 35 minutes. It revolves around the sun 360 days or 365 and a quarter days, and then it goes, and then it moves around the phenomenon of precession. Now, no, it's tilted 23.5 degrees from vertical and it wobbles. Now, the three dimensions of time is daily time, yearly time, and great year time. Okay? So now you're placing the metaphysical cosmic revelations and you're applying this mathematically, scientifically, and with cultural, spiritual consciousness without the religion, without the imprisonment of incarcerating your brain. In other words, you don't need PTAH to tell you because I'm going to help you remember so that you can give this to your child, so that your child can give it to his child, so we can break away from this Gregorian calendar. So now we understand. So once we understand this is atomic energy. All we're talking now is the sun, which is a hydrogen atom, which is atomic energy, which is produced by these black holes that are pushing away from the innerverse. We're in the outerverse. So we're going to go back and we're going to go into a cosmic revelation now. But first, we're trying to break down why we're here today to celebrate, because on December 31st, on New Year's Eve, everybody's down at Times Square talking about Happy New Year's. In the middle of the night, you're yelling Happy New Year's, and you're bringing yourself and your spiritualness down into a Hellenistic oblivion, expeditiously into a Greek tragedy. The only thing that comes from being Hellenized is a Greek tragedy. Your diet, you're killing yourself every day by eating that food before you're trying to produce the proper frequency, the proper vibration, the proper rhythm, so that you can attune yourself with this cosmic forces. These cosmic forces that allow you love, guidance, and protection through the daily experiences of ponderable matter. These ponderable matter are the Neteru, are the gods and goddesses, the air, the water, the sun, the earth. These are nature. These are the elements. This is matter. Matter is solids, liquids, and gases. Anything that has mass, weight, and occupies space. They said, Einstein said matter cannot be destroyed. It can only be altered, changed, and rearranged. But we know Einstein is wrong now because matter can be destroyed but not under normal circumstances. Because we know that black hole up there, our Milky Way galaxy, is not active. Okay, but there are black holes that are active. When they're active, you see that big plume of jet shooting out of it. And that means that it's sucking in anything that's around it into its gravitational pull. And inside this gravitational pull, they have on the outside of it is the ergos field. Then you have the outer event horizon and the inner event horizon until you get sucked down into that spaghetti and your atomic energy becomes disassembled and decimated and absorbed into the singularity. So we're talking science now. Okay, for those of you, I'm trying to make sure that for those who are the alert ones and those who are just entering in, this is food for thought for everybody. Okay, because we are all humble servants of the light. So now we have to be able to apply this scientifically, mathematically, and cultural spiritual consciousness. And this cultural spiritual consciousness is called the concept of self-creation. This is what they don't teach you in academia. They do not teach you this in scholarship. Okay, but even Bowles, Birches, Bremstead, Petrie, all the famed English Egyptologists, the German Egyptologists, they all know through the Medunet of Champollion and Bowles, and all of them all know about Ra Nebuchadnezzar. And this Ra Nebuchadnezzar is written on the stela of Jehuti or Thutmose IV in the pause of Hedukuti or Sekhmet or the Sphinx, if you want to call it. On it's coming up, the sun's rising up now.
They're both in the same frame with the words.
So it's rising up right now. I wish we had the videotape because I wanted to confirm my mathematical equation, my astronomical configurations with the date so that we know that today, when you wake up, today is the first day of the first month of Jehuti, the first day of Ra, the first day of the first month of the first season of Shemu, year number 8. I say it's year number 8. How can I prove that it's year number 8? Because on March 21st on the Gregorian calendar, on the spring equinox, the constellation of Pisces, the two fish, fell below the horizon on 2012, December 21st, when the Mayans said it was the end of the world, and when the Dogon said it's not the end of one, it's just the end of one cycle and the beginning of another. It's life is an ever continuous cycle. So they get you into a fear thought. They get you into a Hellenistic thought of the destruction of your mind and of your spirit. We've been here for millions and millions of years. This isn't our first dance. This isn't our first waltz. We've been here for millions and millions of years, okay? We've been here before, the deja vu. We've been here before, okay? So can I prove this, that today, this is year number 7. So I'm trying to relate to Raketi Amen, to Mario Beatty, to Richard Parker, to Mefundishi, Samaj Fatah always can see this. My brother Siba Samaj Fatah and KABA KEMENE can see that it is obvious for us to see, using the Great Pyramid as our Merku, that we know that the original calendar has 360 days in a year, but each day has 24 hours and an extra 35 minutes. This 35 minutes is split between the Duat and the Twat, okay? And we end up at the same spot with the helical rising of 8,766 hours. We always have to bring Cyrus into the equation, okay? We must keep this equation balanced with Ma'at, because if Ma'at isn't present, then we have become Isfet. We have become out of balance. So we're here to talk of the Macharu, to become the Usamedu Nefer Heka'u, the words of power. We're here to express ourselves in our ancient African indigenous cultural spirituality. And in doing this, we know that if you study the Kemetic philosophy or the Kemetic spirituality, if you've ever seen a papyrus paper that had the Netta Seb on the earth and Newt in the sky, and there's always somebody separating them. If you ever see this big net or this depiction, when you see somebody separating the earth from the sky, it means that the days are only 24 hours and 35 minutes because the earth netters weren't born. The first calendar is a solar calendar, sidereal calendar, which means that there are only 6 forms of life on the earth: plants, insects, reptiles, water creatures, birds that fly, and animal. Man and woman hasn't been created yet. We have not came, okay? We have not come upon the planet yet. There's KABA.
Hotep, I'm finally here.
Oh, my brother. Never read pet. Happy New Year's to my Siva KABA KEMENE. We are blessed and honored to have you in our presence.
It is my pleasure, my honor.
I bow down to my elder Siva and welcome to the platform.
Hotep.
Our family in the Sudan is that the transmission broke down, Siba, so we're going to have to carry it from here and give them a visual collective consciousness visualization of this cosmic phenomenon that's occurring right now of the helical horizon.
Okay. How did it work out?
Well, it's working out. I'm breaking it down. Right now, we don't have visual contents, but we have I'm looking through the star map on my app, and I'm showing it. The 3 stars have already broke the plane. Orion, Sirius is coming up, already broke the plane, and now it's dawning right now. I'm looking on my sky map right now with my wife right now. We're looking at it, and it is showing that it's dawning on the Giza Plateau and in Kerma, Medaway, and Napata.
Okay.
Okay, so we just don't have visual confirmation, which is why we're here to celebrate our story, to break away from his story. We're here to break away from the beyond the doors of European understanding and comprehension. We're here to rewrite our story, to remember our story.
Okay.
By connecting with this phenomenon which our ancestors regulated our whole cultural spirituality consciousness through the regulation of the now, of the growing of the crops, and of how we're moving around this phenomenon of precession. I was telling them about the three movements of the earth, the rotation on its axis, the spinning of the sun around the sun, the yearly orbit, and 23.5 degrees tilt from vertical, which creates the wobble, which is the 26,000 year phenomenon. One wobble is 26,000 years. I was telling them about the three dimensions of time: daily time, yearly time, and great year time, because we're still on the atomic conversation. Yeah, we haven't went cosmic yet. We didn't go into subatomic. We didn't go into the Zetepi yet, because we're trying to gravitate them. We're trying to acclimate them. We're trying to get them, because I know they ate that food today. And we're trying to get them to be able to just disseminate this information down to the children on how to take down that Gregorian calendar from your wall and to put upon your wall our ancient African indigenous solar sidereal lunar cycle calendar. So we're connecting the solar sidereal and the lunar instead of being severed from the solar sidereal and connected only to a lunar, so that we can only feed ourselves, and we disconnected ourselves from the cosmic, invisible, and biblical cord, which is our mother goddess Nut, which connects to the black hole, that Milky Way galaxy, which is revolving around and expanding with the universe. So it's the cosmic story, the cosmic revelation. So we're trying to bring it all together, and we're trying to break it down at the same time with the real-time action of what's happening over there. I know Ashwa Kwesi's over in he's in Ethiopia. He's at the Ethiopian calendar. I seen him and Jay Small, brother Jay Small, who's on the Philip Shock Matthews Virtual Comedic Wisdom School with Siba KABA KEMENE, is also on the Philip Shock Matthews Virtual Comedic Wisdom School. I am also one of the Sibas there, and the Terry Nelson, and we are all on the same wavelength on this, and we're just trying to come together in the spirit of the Samatawi, of the unification of our Ramech, our people. Okay, and so we're trying to break this down in real time, because on December 31st, on New Year's Eve, everybody's downtown in New York in Times Square yelling Happy New Year's, and it's not even New Year's, because it only means that the Pleiades has reached its apex. That's when the Greeks and the Romans celebrated the New Year's, because that related to when they took office at the Senate and all that. It has nothing to do with our cultural spirituality consciousness. So we're here to write and to remember our story. And it begins with this star and the sun, because we have to understand how to tell time, because time is the movement or measurement of the light through the void of deep, dark, cold space from one point or distance to another. Speed 186,000 miles per second. Light is the absence of darkness, and darkness is the absence of light. Light is the giver of Ankh, life, to all things upon the terrestrial plane within the atomic domain. Ankh, life, is the consciousness and awareness of being. Ankh, life, is the generic expression of the light, which is only found exclusively in three forms: solids, liquids, and gases. Matter, the elements. Nature, the Metharus, the gods and goddesses. But light, atomic energy, Kerma, the expanded universe, or the hydrogen atom, is not the Zeptepi. It is not the origins of existence and the creation and development of the universe. Light has a mirrored reflection, which is radiation. Subatomic, which is the cosmic egg, the primeval germ, Ra Nebuchadnezzar. And so we have to be able to take this story from this time and be able to relate it to the cosmic story of our cultural spirituality, because this is where the 5 days come in at. Because the original calendar, there was only 360 days in a year, because there's 24 hours and 35 minutes in every day. So that means there's only 360 degrees in a circle. There's 360 days a year. So Sebenut, the sky and the earth, wanted to have children. So they asked Jehuti to petition Ra, but Ra said, "There's nothing I can do. Time's already been allotted for. There's no room for your children." So Ra asked Jehuti to work the mathematical equation to make way for the children of the earth, of the earth. So Jehuti took the 35 minutes that's as added on to every day, and he won the wager. He took the 35 minutes and multiplied it 360 times, and he comes up with 5¼ days. These are the days that the Earth Netarus are born, the Ta Netarus, who are the firstborn is Heru, the secondborn is Asa, the thirdborn is Sut or Set, the fourth is As, and the fifth is Nebhet. So on July the 20th, on a 24-hour daily cycle, on July 20th on the Gregorian calendar, we began to celebrate, as I did over at the Museum of the National Center of Afro-American Artists, 300 Walnut Ave, at the Royal Burial Chamber, tomb room of Nesubiti Spalta. I began celebrating the birthday of Heru. Then we celebrated the next day the birthday of Asa, the birthday of Set. I lit a candle, you know, set a few things too. I mean, in the beginning, Set was on the boat of a million years. He was the great one, but he turned to evil, murdered, and he assassinated his brother. But that's another story we got to get into in itself. But we pay respect to Set because he's our uncle. He's in the cosmic tree. So I pay respect to his birthday. And then we pay respect to the As-Erbu Patnataru, or Aset, known as Isis. And then the last day yesterday was Nebhet. And after Nebhet's birthday, or the next morning, the star rises with the sun, which is the helical rising, meaning that our Earth has made one complete revolution of the sun. And the reason why we equate these 5 Earth Netters, because these Earth Netters were born from Nut, the sky, and Seb, the Earth. And Seb, the Earth, and Nut, the sky, was begotten by Shu and Tefnut. And Shu and Tefnut was born, was given birth by the direct issue of Ra Nebuchadnezzar. And I'm long-winded, Siba. If you want to come in, KABA, because you know me, I'm getting ready to take up cosmic. If you want to, I know you have plenty to express and to reveal within this cosmic story. I can take a break, or I'll take them straight cosmic. I'll make the little Gerber under our brains. I'll make that Gerber have a.
Let me say
Brother, I
this.
got my pen. I'm taking notes. You're my Siba tonight. I'm listening to you.
Okay, we're going to break it down then. We're going to break it down.
Go ahead, do your thing, brother. I'm with you.
Okay, so we know that Shu and Tefnut was born from the direct issue of Ra Nebuchadnezzar. How do we know this? How can I prove this? Where is the evidence? Where is the primary source? It comes from the pyramid text. It comes from the Mastaba text. It comes from the pyramid text of Teta, Pepi, and Dejet. Okay, and it says in the text, the text goes in Medunetta. It says, and you can get this in both. It's Rosa now. She says it's just the sun just peaked over the horizon. It's Nepalu Rempet Ubin something. Happy New Year's. Everybody rise. Ubin something rises. Happy New Year's, everybody.
That's
This
it.
is a joyous time. This is our time. This is our time has come. This is our story. This is beyond the door of European understanding. It is the time for the Shemsu Herus, the Nagas, the Shemsu Herus, the Nesubitis, the Hemets, the Sibas, the Sibats, the Mutnatats, the Queen Mother Goddesses, immortal ones of Ma'at cherished. Oh, let not the flames die out. Cherished, age after golden great age, in its sacred caverns and holy temples cherished, fed by the pure Nagas, Shemsu Herus, Nesubitis, Hemet, Sibas, Sibats, the immortal ones of Ma'at ancestors cherished. Oh, let not the flames die out. Anuk Heru. Anuk Heru. I am Heru. I am Heru.
Smile.
I give you my wings so that you may fly. I give you my eyes so you will never die. Oh, you divine Nagas, Shemserus, Nesubitis, Hemets, Sibas, Sibats, Mutnatats, the immortal ones of Ma'at cherished. Gather, come hither, come thither. Rally unto me, and I will lead you to the true, righteous Ma'atian path of immortality. Follow the movement of the stars, Subtit, Cyrus, and Ra. You will find yourself in a perfect state in space and time. Acknowledge the divine cosmic environment that you are seeing, and you will desire to acquire the ability to experience the phenomenon of being. That's the sacred Hesi to ignite that chakras and the pineal glands within you, get you to feel this sensation that we're feeling right now, this electromagnetic vibrations that's resonating all around us. So we know that in the Medunetta text. Am I okay here, Siba? Black Ice TV? Richie?
Listen, you good, brother. You good. I'm enjoying this. I hope I've enjoying this. I hope they know the significance of today and why we're coming on right now. Again, for my UK family, you can see the sun rising behind me as it's coming through. So again, I'm just happy to
Matter
be
of fact, you're basically on the same meridian, the Nilotic meridian. You're only a couple of parallels off. So somewhere along the line, somebody should be seeing these same constellations rising on that meridian, because they moved everything to 52 parallels north of the equator, which is Greenwich, England. But let's stay to the cosmic story so we can relate the story from time to us relating it through the birth of the Neterus of Heru, Asa, Sut, Af, and Nebhet. And on that day, the star rises, meaning we completed one revolution around the sun, which meant that now we realign ourselves through Heru. Heru and Heru gave birth to the Shemsu Heru, who is Mester, Hapi, Twamutup, and Quebsunup. These are the 4 children of Heru, who are called the Shemsu Heru. We come from the Shemsu Heru, who came from Heru and Heru, who came from Asa and Ast, who came from Seb and Nut, who begat from Shu and Tefnut, who came from the direct issue of Ra Nebuchadnezzar, Ra, the divine creator of all existence. So now that is our cultural spirituality, consciousness, doctrines of Ma'at, concept of self, predicated on the concept of self-creation for our spirituality. But now we have to apply this scientifically. We have to apply this with mathematics in order to have balance with Ma'at, because this is primordial temple discipline that we are talking right now. Our cultural spirituality consciousness must have science, math with cultural spiritual consciousness, and star validation and absolute accountability for Ma'at to be present. So, relating the story from Shu Tefnut, now we know in the pyramid text, the story goes, you can Google the Book of Apepi and the Book of Coming Forth by Day Every, which is 2 papyruses put together by these Romans and Greeks and these Europeans. And the papyrus is all butchered up that they hacked together from the papyrus of Hunefa and the papyrus of Anai. And then they have the Book of Overthrown Apepi. This is where this text comes from, but it's more text. You got the KEMENE, you got the Shabaka stone. All these texts have to be placed together in a scientific manner, like Gij, comma J equals 0, like Brother KABA KEMENE, my Siba, who did the presentation with Dr. Gabriel Yibo, and how he put it together. We're gonna use the same mathematical equation, the mother equation, but we're going to add a variant to replace a stone that was missing. I'm only here as a humble servant of the light to help us all remember. I am just a humble servant of the light. And the stone that is replacing is called the concept of self-creation. And within this concept of self-creation, Atum does not come into the picture, because Atum means the completed one. And Medunetta, if you see Medunetta, Atum would be the fig leaf with the T, with the M, would be Atum. But there's no leaf there. There's a T, and this is a sledge. It's a sledge with 2 lines with a rope hanging down from it, and it means Temu. Temu means to think. Temu means thought. Temu means to plan. Temu becomes mentalism, which becomes electromagnetism. So now we go right to science, and we come into the 4 primordial energy forces of electromagnetism, weak force, strong force, and gravity. Because Ra Nebuchadnezzar. Okay, thank you, sweetie. Now, Ra Nebuchadnezzar had to take 4 attributes of manifestation in order to become Ra Nebuchadnezzar. Because first he had to release himself. Then he had to seek out himself. He had to overcome the sensation of weightlessness to acquire the ability to experience the phenomenon of being. This is what it means when I tell you you must desire to acquire this ability to experience the phenomenon of being. Is the story of the concept of self-creation, this cosmic revelation. So in the 4 attributes, he says, the spiritual text goes, I am he, she. Our creator is androgynous. He's a he and a she. The feminine and masculine principles are always there within our cultural spirituality from the beginning to the end and to the rebirth and to the resurrection. It's always there, the masculine and feminine balance. So he says, I am he, she, who existed in the primeval ocean of nothingness, eons and eons of evolutions ago, before the beginnings of time. When I thought, he became Temu now. See, he's telling you, it's in the Medunetta text. He's telling you in a rhyme and a rhythm in Medunetta text through the Usa Medu Nefer, the Hekau, the divine words of power. He's breaking things down scientifically, mathematically, with cultural spirituality, right through the divine words of power of the Medu Nefer. So he says, when I thought. So when he says, when I thought the moment had come, he's telling you he became Temu. The first attribute of manifestation of Ra Never Teshuvah is Temu. Temu means to think. Temu means thought. Temu means to plan. Temu means mentalism, which is equated scientifically to electromagnetism, the first of the field forces. Then he says, when I thought the moment had come, I fashioned my mouth and I uttered my name as a word of power. He became PTAH. PTAH is the turbulence. PTAH is the door. And when the door opened up, the entity, the creator, released itself. So he said, first you must release yourself. So he had to release himself from this primeval ocean of nothingness. And when he released himself, he was nothing but a little. Now we go into quantum physics and astrophysics, quantum physics, quantum mechanics, astrophysics, and quantum mechanics. He becomes the string and the strand, the macro and the micro. He's nothing but a little string. And then he starts to fluctuate, and then oblivion, the primeval ocean, sucks him right back in again. And so, because he says, I am he who existed in the primeval ocean of nothingness eons and eons of evolutions ago. Because energy that is collected, absorbed, and then stored must be released. So he says, when I thought the time had come. So how can time come? I know how a man and a woman comes. I know how a show at the store, a show at the club happens. I know what time that is. I know how that comes. I know how there's a sale at the car store that's coming. But how does time come? Energy that is collected, absorbed, and then stored must be released. So he said, when I thought the moment had come. So this energy that is collected, absorbed, and then stored had to be released. So he pronounced his name, his Ren. Ren in Medunetta, name in Medunetta means Ren. It's the mouth with the water sign. It means Ren. But Medunetta has to be applied positively and negatively, forward and backwards. So you take the N and put it on top of the mouth, and you got Ner, which is energy. So the name became the energy, just like the word Renpet. We celebrating the Renpet right now. If you go into Medunetta, into Chapalion, or into Bulge, Renpet, Ren means name and Pet means sky. How the heck does that mean New Year's? It doesn't make sense. The only way it can make sense is if you take the Ren and turn it around to Ner, and you got name, and now you got energy, and then you take Pet, and you turn that around to Tep, and Tep means time, like Zep Tepi, first time. So you got Tep, and Pet, and you got Ren and Ner. Now it's starting to make sense because we're thinking of the concept of self-creation, which is the doctrines of Ma'at. Everything is predicated upon the concept of self-creation, which is the story within the pyramid text, is which I'm talking to you right now about. So this is the only way this makes sense within our cultural spiritual consciousness, or we're nothing but another well-dressed thug. We're nothing but another Greek and another Roman who's regurgitating information that's going to bring about more subjugation to our people and our suffering as melanated people upon this planet, where at this time we're supposed to be ruling this planet. And the only reason why we don't rule the planet is because we don't know how to tell time. So this is why we're here today. This is why we're experiencing this Renpet, this most auspicious moment where everything is ubiquitous. Is that the word, KABA? Siva, KABA. Am I saying the word right?
Say that again.
Ubiquitous. Ubiquitous. Yes.
Ubiquitous.
Yes, it's everywhere.
Ubiquitous. That's it. It's like saying, what part of butter isn't milk?
Yes. Yes.
It's all up in there.
Yes, all up in there. That's where we're at right now with our story. We're all up in there. Okay? We got absolute accountability and star validation. And we're breaking this down scientifically, mathematically, and with our cultural spiritual consciousness, which is our belief system, our primordial belief system. So Let's finish the story now because we're going cosmic here. And we're relating the scientific, mathematically, with cultural spirituality. So we know that Radha Teshwara, he said, when I thought the moment had come, I fashioned my mouth and I uttered my name as a word of power. With this power that was my birthright, I fashioned myself in form from out of the primeval ocean of nothingness. Now it came to pass that I found no place upon which I could stand. So I straightway brought forth from my own mind and thoughts the primeval mound from out of the primeval ocean of nothingness. Being that I was alone at this time, it pleased me to make others. So I went from being nature 1 to nature 3. I made these beings in the manner in which all things are made. I, Ra, Nebuchadnezzar, Ra, the he, the she, the mother and father of all existence. I embraced my shadow and I grasped my member and I loved myself. I issued forth the nature shoe and I multiplied its forms millions and millions of times. I gathered a portion of the remains and I swallowed them and I spat forth Tefnut. They are my heart and soul, twins born of the same birth. And when you find the one, you find the three because the three is of the one and the one is of the three. Shu and Tefnut had union and gave birth to 7 Nut. 7 Nut, and I multiplied their forms millions of times. 7 Nut had union and gave birth to the earth Neterus, Harur, Asa, Sut, As, Nebhet, and Asa and As gave birth to Haru, Haru and Heteru gave birth to the Shems Haru. This is how our cultural spirituality, cosmology, and cosmogony story is based upon our cultural belief system. Now we have to take this story and apply it to the mathematical equation of Dr. Yibo's Gij, comma J equals 0, infinity, if this is to be balanced with my art, and also have the scientific credibility. So we know that he says, when I thought the moment had come, I fashioned my mouth. He became Temu, electromagnetism. He said, I fashioned my mouth and uttered my name as a word of power. Oh, yes. Here it is right there. We got it. We got it. We just came over the horizon. Right now, it's the New Year's in KEMENE. This is the star map. Anybody who has star map, you can see the sky map, not star map, sky map on your app. Go to sky map, and you can see what I'm seeing. You just calibrate your phone, and it'll show you where it's happening. Thank you very much. Dua. Thank you. So we know that he became, so he says, when I thought the moment had come, I fashioned my mouth and I uttered my name as a word of power. He became Ptah. Ptah is the door. Ptah and God is signless. The P in Ptah means a stool. It means a mat. The Greeks say that Ptah's name means stool or mat. It doesn't make sense. So if you're learning scholarship from Champollion, if you're learning God is signless, you're nothing but another Greek and another Roman. Now you can make money in the university, conditioning and regurgitating more bad information to our people if you want. But Ptah means the door. Ptah means the opener. Okay? Ptah means the opener. So Ptah opened the door because energy that is collected, absorbed, and then stored must be released. Thank you. Okay, because we're talking the concept of self-creation. So now when this energy is released, he said, I found no place upon which I could stand. So now he's explaining gravity because Ptah becomes the strong force. Now he said, I found no place upon which I could stand, which means he has the sensation of weightlessness. There's no gravity. So he said, I straightway brought forth from my own mind and thoughts the primeval mound from out of the primeval ocean of nothingness. Now he becomes Amen, because Amen means the hidden one, which means gravity, because Amen is the mound. That T that they say in God and the sign that there's a loaf of bread, that's the primeval mound. If you look inside the Merkul, the Great Pyramid, when you go inside the King's Chamber, and you have to bow your head within them antechambers there before you enter into the King's Chamber, there's a seal. That seal is in the letter of the Medunetta T, and that is the primeval mound. So it becomes gravity. So we explain gravity. When we break this down, the whole story down, we're going to explain gravity to add more credence and credibility to Gij, comma J equals 0, which right now is described as a geometric dynamic description of the universe instead of the GUT, the grand unification theorem. So we need absolute accountability and style validation. All I am is a humble servant. This is a small casing stone or the casing block of this new age order, melanated nation that we're building under the foundation of my art. And in order to do this, we're beginning with time, but now we're moving into the cosmic revelation. Let us finish this story here. So he says, I found no place upon which to stand, so I straightway brought forth the primeval mound from out of the primeval ocean of nothing. So primeval ocean of nothingness. So now now he's standing on this mound and he's collecting himself. He acquired gravity. So now so we have electromagnetism, weak force, strong force. We have electromagnetism, the strong force is Ptah, electromagnetism is Temu, strong force is Ptah, Amen is gravity. And the fourth attribute, he becomes Kepra. He says, it pleased me to make others. So now he went from being nature one to nature two. Now he's creating matter. He's creating, so inside, so when we start the inner verse is electromagnetism, the strong force, and gravity. This is where the egg is at. Inside this egg is surrounded by a ring, which is the inner verse. The inner verse is the place of subatomic emissions where particles of repulsive energy are converted into a form of digestive radiation that is absorbed by the self-created one, Ra Never Teshara, allowing continuous growth and perpetual evolution. So we're explaining gravity here. Gravity is the result of antimatter collapsing upon itself, producing gamma explosions which release nuclear energy inwards and outwards. The energy that is released inwards was, and always shall be absorbed by the self-created one, Ra Never Teshara. The energy that is released outward beyond the gamma ring, that ring where the egg is inside the ring, this is the inner verse. And inside this inner verse, there's these orbs called gamma orbs which produce gamma blasts, these green gamma explosions, which are surging inwards towards the creator, replenishing the creator, and allowing it to have continuous evolution. This is called cosmic photosynthesis. So this is the inner verse. So now we have the inner verse, which is surrounded by the primeval ocean of nothingness. So now he has to become the fourth attribute to become Ra Never Teshara, which is Kepra. Kepra is the evolver of evolution. Kepra is atomic energy. That's why the beetle has the sun disk on his head, because it represents atomic energy. Our sun is a hydrogen atom, which is produced by dark body radiations. In science, dark body radiations are black holes or galaxies. So gravity is the result of antimatter collapsing upon itself, producing gamma explosions which release nuclear energy inwards and outwards. The energy that is released inwards was, and always shall be absorbed by the self-created one, Ra Never Teshara. The energy that is released outwards beyond the gamma ring as bits of pure antimatter upon embracing interference develop in a region we call the nursery of the stars as dark body radiations or black holes or galaxies. These dark body radiations or black holes or galaxies are pushed away from the inner verse and are the realization of the outer verse. So the universe is called uni in Latin and Greek because it is a multiverse. And this multiverse is an outer verse and inner verse, which is surrounded by nu. So now these dark body radiations are pushed away from the inner verse and is the realization of the outer verse. These dark body radiations, black holes, or galaxies produce atomic energy, light stars, planet, moons, and life forms until all the above energy once again into oblivion. These forces will adjust, propel, and expand the continuous perpetual evolution of the expanding universe. It's a scientific, this is in my book, The Cosmic Egg, aka The Primeval Germ, a journey of 59 plus 21 zeros. We break this down scientifically, and now we're adding Gij, comma J equals 0 into the equation because Dr. Yibo, his master equation is just so balanced in my art. We have to put this in the equation. And the way that eloquently as Dr. Siva KABA KEMENE did this 20 years ago, he performed this lecture. If you go back and research our great Siva KABA KEMENE and his lectures, I was just a little titty bit back then. So all this is coming full circle now on this most auspicious day of this helical rising, when all of us must come together to understand our position here and our spiritual relationship to this cosmic forces and to these energies of the collective cosmic consciousness. So here's another. Let me just break this one down too to add to this definition. We have in the beginning. There is Nur. This is the Rosarian star grand unification theorem. Dr. Yibo has Gij, comma J equals 0. In my book, we have RSGUT, which is the Rosarian star grand unification theorem. In the beginning, there is energy, Nur. and its name is oblivion. In the end, there is energy, nerve, and its name also is oblivion. Life is derived from power, and power is the result of energy. That's our equation. E plus P equals L. Dr. J. Gabriel Yebels is Gij, comma J equals zero. We're always coming back to that zero because if we wanted to express nothingness mathematically or numerically, we have to use zero, and we know zero means nothing mathematically or numerically, but we know zero is everything in our African cultural spirituality. So let me just finish what I was saying. Let me just finish this one here before we come back again. In the beginning, there is energy, and his name is oblivion. In the end, there is energy. His name also is oblivion. Life is derived from power. Power is the result of energy. X-electron, which is that Ra-Nebuchadnezzar equation that I'm talking about. X-electron, after releasing, freeing, discharging, or escaping from oblivion, became a source of power. But because this power was dissipating, form and shape was necessary for containment, and the feeling of weightlessness then must be overcome. By the controlled emissions of waves and rays of magnetic subatomic particles in all directions after taking shape, these two basic needs were met. This is the origins of subatomic space. This is the story, the sacred doctrine, the sacred Mahatya doctrine of the self-creation of Ra-Nebuchadnezzar. Energy that was lost and now being spent was in need of replacement. This created hunger and the need for replenishment. All the energy was being dispersed outwardly, allowing form and shape within the newly formed egg until it was forced to expand beyond itself. This created a great explosion that hurled shell bits of magnetic subatomic particles in all directions, expanding the void of deep dark cold space as they traveled, until finally reaching the pause of magnetic repulsion, the heliopause, where they began to collapse upon each other, creating orb-like shapes of form. This created another explosion. Boom. A ring of gamma now surrounds the primeval germ. It allows the recycling of energy inwards and the replenishing of itself. Some of this energy that was not absorbed inwards was released outward beyond the gamma rings as bits of pure antimatter upon embracing the fines developed in a region we call the nursery of the stars as dark body radiations. These dark body radiations are pushed away from the inner verse as the realization of the outer verse. These dark body radiation, black holes that galaxies produce, atomic energy, light, planet, moves, life forms, all the above mentioned energy once again into oblivion. These forces will expand, adjust, propel, continuous perpetual evolutions of the expanding universe. So we're expanding gravity within this story of this calendar, which our ancestors gave to us, which is based upon a solar, sidereal, and a lunar concept with the Nataru star timeline, which records our movement through the 26,000 year cycle of the phenomenon of precession. So this is what is meant to know about this moment, this auspicious moment of time where the star has just risen, is how our ancestors coordinated and related to our essence of being within existence. So now we have to understand that right now they're building dams down there that's keeping disturbing the natural cycle of the Nile flow to keep us from coordinating this time that we're trying to reestablish right now. They're working on changing the flow of the river Nile so that it disturbs our own spirituality again. So we have to come back to knowing how to tell time and how to relate it to this most auspicious moment, this most beautiful time, and this most beautiful essence of our cultural spirituality and the vibrations and the rhythm and frequencies. And I think I've been long-winded enough, Siva, KABA committee. And
It's weather down there. No
and
clouds.
Been a
no clouds, very
beautiful
good.
build.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I'm just honored to that you allowed us on your platform, Black Ice TV, Richie. And we apologize to our audience that we did not have the connection from our Siba in the Sudan, Asa Surah Mary Ma'at. He is doing great work down in the Sudan. He's working at the Sudanese Museum down there. And we're going to make trips down to KEMENE, and we're going to go catch the boat down to the Sudan, catch the train to Khartoum. We're going to go visit our brother down there, and he's going to take us to the Kush pyramids. We're going to spend our time down there. And I just wanted to thank our Siba Richie for allowing KABA KEMENE and me from the Shock Metaphysics Virtual Comedic Wisdom School and our Siba Craig Samuels to be on your platform. and the Terry Nelson, who will be coming on your platform so we can spread the Shock Metaphysics Virtual Comedic Wisdom School on a global consciousness cosmic connection. This is what we're here to do, take the Shock Metaphysics, because this is the future. The Shock Metaphysics Virtual Comedic Wisdom School is the future of our consciousness. So we all must come, when you come back, go back onto Facebook, you want to search for Philip Shock Matthews, and then you will find the Shock Metaphysics Virtual Comedic Wisdom School, in which Siba KABA KEMENE, my Siba, my great Atef Netaru, our great elder master teacher, who I am a humble student of, could give us more information towards that. Could you do that for us, Siba KABA, for the Shock Metaphysics Virtual Comedic Wisdom School, because this platform is so great here in the UK.
Hotep to my brother, Siba PTAH, Sika Asar, and to my brother Richie and the Black Ice community and all those listening. I've been moving around today, and I came on just as I came into the home, and I was ready to do what I had to do. But one of the things that I wanted to add, there's no way, my brother Siba PTAH, you have eloquently expressed. I could not say it better. The one thing that I would add, because you probably already did it, but I would like to reaffirm to our community the importance of understanding time, because time is the cornerstone to all things that will either succeed or fail in life. And when you understand what time it is, when you understand, when Brother Siba PTAH was talking about the various levels of consciousness, there's various levels of calendrical systems of living. And what our ancestors were so gifted in being able to do was to be able to live multidimensionally. They were able to live with the electromagnetism, with the strong and weak forces, with gravity. They were able to live multidimensionally. And our brother Edward Bruce Bynum writes in his book Dark Light that the original peoples, the African peoples, the original peoples lived in 6 dimensions. They had already pierced through the first 3, which is height, width, and depth. And they realized that time and space, history and geography, are what comprise the first 3 dimensions. And they rose up out of those 3 dimensions into the 4th dimension, which is the space-time continuum, where all things that have happened before are happening now and will happen later. So, for instance, I use the idea, people say that they had deja vu. I've been here before. Well, yeah, you have been there before, because you've always been there. And so the space-time continuum collapses in on itself. So therefore, height, width, and depth becomes a new dimension that allows you to be able to tap into the sources that our ancestors and their scientists were able to prove. This is not about faith or belief. This is about knowledge. This is about science. This isn't about superstition. This isn't about religion. This is about science. This is about knowing. And as they were able to develop the 4th dimension of the space-time continuum, they began to realize that they moved into the light. And so light becomes the 5th dimension of existence, of which our ancestors were aware of. And in so they talk about the light. They talk about all of the things that deal with light, the energy, the conversion, the movement, the doing something with that which is created. And then as they moved into the next dimension, they then found that place. As Siba PTAH spoke about the great creator Nebecha, who had no place to stand. And so therefore the mound became that place upon which it was that gravity. Gravity is the footprint, it's the cosmic footprint of organic organisms. And so this 6th dimension of gravity now is this next dimension. And as African people in this Gregorian calendar, we have not gotten past the 3rd dimension. We live in 3 dimensions. This thing about TV and movies, looking at it in 3D. Okay, there are so many different, and the medunetta, that is why the medunetta sometimes was carved inward and sometimes it was carved outward. And that was the importance of carving, because it wasn't just printed on the paper, it literally took shape within the very bricks and stones of our ancestors. And so they were attempting to metaphorically depict. So when brother talks about renpet, but you have to turn it around, nur tep. Our ancestors were multidimensional. They just didn't look at things the way we do, renpet. They then turned it around to say that you could actually turn it around to be tep nur. They thought multidimensionally. We are so superficial and so shallow in this Greek-Roman experience, in this Eurasian experience, that we're suffocating. So we are six-dimensional beings being forced to live in 3 dimensions, and it's like a whale that lives in a goldfish bowl. And so when you see how we conduct ourselves in so many different ways, and many of them are inappropriate, I'm not surprised. Because when you take, like, for instance, they talk about the crabs in the basket, and they say how crabs in the basket pull each other down. Well, if you took those crabs and returned them back into their natural environment, the water, crabs actually help each other. They sit atop each other, and they allow the one on the top to eat. And when the one on the top has eaten sufficient, it goes down and picks the group up so that the next one will eat. So that when you deal with the crabs in the basket, and sometimes how we treat each other and how we may turn on each other, well, that's very natural, because you've taken a natural organism out of its natural environment and put it in an unnatural environment. So it is natural for a natural essence to act unnatural in an unnatural environment. Return that crab back into its water. It fulfills its natural way of living. So when we return back into the time, into the cosmic time, when we then look at that Rossorian calendar and understand that it is another time superimposed that will allow us to return back to our natural surroundings, we won't conduct ourselves the way we do, because we'll be in our natural surroundings. Because why? This is my point. Because we'll know what time it is. And when you know what time it is, you know who you are. And when you know who you are, you know what you must do. And so I'm just going to end by saying, and I'm going to let my brother see God take it to the next level. I say to us, as we move into this new year, I say, keep on keeping on, because it ain't over until we win.
Yes, Seba. Yes, but
now, brother Seba Patel, you
it's not over. And it's not over until we acquire the ability to experience the phenomenon of being.
All power to the people.
Yes, and I like to say, that's right, to the Ramech. Usa Ramech, power to the people. Usa Ramech. And I would like to say that, don't forget, you must follow the rules of the Ipet. You must follow the rules of the Libet. In order to have the proper frequencies, the proper vibrations, in order for you to receive this energy and vibrations and the rhythm in which these Sebas are trying to express to our family, you have to eat only of the seed. The first rule, eat only of the seed. If it doesn't have a seed, don't put it in your mouth. Only thing you put in your mouth that doesn't have a seed is water. Rule number 2, never eat and drink at the same time. Don't mix your solids with your liquids. Don't eat and drink at the same time. You create an acidy brew. You start to blow up sideways, disconformulate, and you get the sicknesses. Rule number 3, eat as the table earth prepares the food, from the vine, from the earth, from the tree. Rule number 4, never eat to your fill. Don't glut yourself. Rule number 5, fast occasionally. Certain periods of the year you must detox, fast, to cleanse and purify the body from all the pollution. You do this, all the contamination you put in your body, and you do this during periods of the Ipetaru, during the solstices, the equinox, during the full moon, the moon cycles. There are different periods of the year in which you must cleanse the body. And third of all, for those of you who are in Boston, Massachusetts, or traveling to Boston tomorrow, I have to be up. I have to perform the Red Pit Hesse here in America. Because this is Black Ice TV 7. We are global. This is the Cosmic Global Consciousness Connection. We're UK, United States, and the Sudan. We're in Tameri, Tanisha, Taneparu. We're in Naga, Kemet, Egypt. We are global. This is a global consciousness connection here. And I want to thank our brother Siba Richie for allowing us to be on his platform today. Black Ice TV in the UK, my UK family. Usa Ramet, power to the people.
Power to the people.
That's it. That's it. That's it. And again, I want to thank both of the elders for coming on the platform and blessing us with the knowledge and wisdom and the awareness to know that the beginning of the new year is now. Yeah, because again, I'm sure that would have just went unannounced, unpronounced. Yeah, with again that cosmic energy going to waste. Yeah, and as you're saying, within a few more months' time, we would have been back on their tune, celebrating another fake new year under that guise again.
Right. Take down the Gregorian calendar. Take down that Gregorian calendar from your wall. Absolutely.
That's it. So I give thanks for that. We're going to put the link for the calendar in the description again so people know where to get it. I want to thank everyone that's tuned in and supporting Black Ice TV in our endeavors.
And you can always don't forget the KABA KEMENE is coming back on your show every week, and you can download his ebooks. You can download his information at what is your website, KABA?
www.kabakamene.com. KABAKAMENE.com.
Yes, yes, and I'm quite sure Brother Richie got that down the link down below.
Most definitely, and tell the people as well, Siba, where to get the calendar, where they can.
Yes, you can go to www.PTAHoriginals.com, or you can just follow the link to my Shock Metaphysics Virtual Kemetic Wisdom School, which is the official sponsor of the Rosarian Solar Silver Lunar Calendar. You can get the link at the Shock Metaphysics Virtual Kemetic Wisdom School, which I am one of the Sibas as KABA KEMENE is, and you can find the link there along with KABA KEMENE's ebook and his lessons to be followed at the Virtual Kemetic Wisdom School. Yes, you can find it right there.
This calendar should be on every one of our walls. This Rosarian calendar should be on every one of our walls to understand for our children. And when you put it on your wall and you have children in your house, put it low enough so that they can see it.
Yes.
We tend to put a lot of things up high on our walls, like artwork and things like that, and our children don't see it. Put it down to their level. Put it so that they can see it every time they pass wherever you have that calendar. Make it so they can see it. Imprint these images in their mind of their culture and their character and who they are, so that they can then inherit this concept of knowing what time it is. Ask them constantly, what time is it?
Right. Yeah.
Make them aware of this concept. Just ask them, what time is it?
Yes.
And then take them to the calendar and show them what time it is.
Yes.
Show them the Netiru so they understand who they are.
Yes.
Do it for the children. Let the
are.
children see it. Put it on your wall. Put it down low. If your child is 3 feet, put the calendar 3 feet.
Yes.
If they're 4 feet, put it at 4 feet. If you have a child that's 8 feet, put it 8 feet. But put it at eye level so they see it.
Yes.
It is worth everything that we do. Having this calendar is worth it.
Yes.
I have one. My wife has one. My son has one this year and last year's.
Yes. And so for those
valuable.
And for those, remember that today is the new year. So today is the first day of the first month of Jehuti, the first day of Ra, the first day of the first month of the first season of Shemu, year number 8, AFNK/ST, after the founding of New Kemet, Naga Kemet, Samatawi, phenomenon of precession, New Age order of the great golden age of Ma'at Hapi Asar. So we must understand. So tomorrow, the next day will be the second day of the first month of Jehuti, and so on and so forth. And it's a 3-in-1 calendar. I superimposed the Gregorian calendar right on top of it, and it's inside the cartouches that you can follow to make it a practical living calendar so that you can still have to go to plantation. I know you're headed to the plantation tomorrow morning. You got to go in there and check in with the master. You got to get that check so we can survive and everything. But now you can regulate yourself through a Gregorian timeline, but maintaining your cultural, African cultural, primordial cultural spirituality consciousness. You must maintain the cosmic consciousness in order for us to maintain and to survive this next assault. As KABA communities had his, he said from the pyramids to the plantation to the projects, well, we're coming back to the pyramids again. The four P's.
That's all. And again, people, look out for Craig Matthews, brother Craig Matthews from the Shockmare Physics. Hopefully all goes well and he'll be back. He'll be joining us tomorrow or today, as it is on Wednesday tonight. Plus, we'll have a brother Leo Muhammad joining us to talk about the reparations movement that is going on over here and what that means. Because again, we had a show already this evening gone where we talked about it, and again, it far supersedes money and those aspects. It's about healing of self, and knowledge like this that we're talking about today is part of that reparations movement, getting that knowledge of self, replacing yourself in time, space, in the black paradigm, to know what it is that you need to be doing and to be in. So for them shows, shout out to brother T. Again, thank you to the brothers for coming on and saying some what are in the people. And again, big up to the audience who's been watching, participating. Shout out to Sci-Fi for holding down the chat. Tune in again. Look out for the next broadcast. Hopefully be able to get our brother from the Sudan on at time and reconnect with him and give you some first-hand pictures of where he is and his study group, on and so forth. So look out for that space. It's been a pleasure once again. Peace to the family. Thank you for joining us. We are there. Hold tight.